For the AFC wildcard, here's my reaction to the 3 games. Broncos, Bills, this game was not what we expected. We wanted this game to be a little more competitive. I thought the Broncos were going to have a chance to make it more competitive. I mean, with the defense they had, with the defense they have, the pass rush they have, the secondary, Pat Surtain, like how he's played all year, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Nick Bonito, another Defensive Player of the Year candidate in my book. They had a lot of talent defensively in the run game they have. Bo Nix was playing at a high level all season as a rookie. Sean Payton has done a great job with this team, and against the Bills, like the first drive, we saw them have a great drive. Bo Nix had a great touchdown to Marvin Mims, and they had that little fake punt, that worked, but then it still resulted them in punting the ball away. Other than, the first drive and that play, Sean Payton really called this game conservative. The run game wasn't there for this team, other than Bo Nix 43 yards rushing off 4 attempts. Like, there really wasn't much of a run game, and Buffalo's defense, they're fully healthy. They were able to, make things tough for Bo Nix. And when you ask Bo Nix to make plays on his own, no run game to lean on for him, and him getting pressured, it just wasn't the right situation for Bo Nix to flourish and to have a successful performance. So things got tricky for him. He looked skittish. He looked, rocky. This is the type of performance you see from a rookie quarterback. That isn't Jaden Daniels. That isn't CJ Stroud. So not surprised, that Buffalo won, but a little surprised how they won. But the Bills, they have all their players healthy now. This defense, Matt Miliano was chasing down Bo Nix. Teron Johnson got hurt, but he came back and returned in the game. The pass rush was there, Von Miller. The pass rush was getting home. They had 2 sacks, but they were able to disrupt Bo Nix and, make him less productive and make it a tough day for him. I thought the run game was special in this game, and that's something they're going to need in the game against Baltimore. James Cook, 23 carries, 120 yards, and a touchdown. That really helped, this offense just get things going, sustain drives, and, take time off the clock. And Josh Allen, usual performance from him. 2 touchdowns, 272 yards passing. When you combine that with James Cook having the hot hand and able to run through this Broncos defense, it was just a bad day for the Broncos. Not their best performance. And Curtis Samuel having a receiving touchdown, 60 yards. That was encouraging. This is a guy that they've wanted to get going this year. It really hasn't, for him, but you're encouraged by him having an appearance. So Buffalo's going to need everybody available for them to, knock off Baltimore, and how Baltimore's looked so far. It's going to take everybody, but Josh Allen, healthy defense, James Cook run game. I'm excited to see how that matchup turns out. Ravens versus Steelers. This Ravens team just steamrolled the Steelers, and it got closer in the second half. Russell Wilson, he put up a couple touchdowns. George Pickens had that nice touchdown where he juked out the defender like instantly, got away and got, past 4 touchdown. But other than that, Derrick Henry couldn't stop him. Lamar Jackson couldn't stop him in the rushing attack. Derrick Henry, 186 yards, 28 carries, 2 touchdowns, 7.2 yards per carry, had a 44-yard touchdown too. So they were allowing Derrick Henry to be the one to get going, and that was a bad decision. Because you see Lamar Jackson, he's deciding if he wants to pull it or not, and the whole defense follows Lamar. And that was what happened on that 44-yard touchdown. And it really shows you Lamar's value as an MVP and how important he is to, Derrick Henry is important to this team, but Derrick Henry's not getting those open lanes to the level he's getting with Lamar Jackson. Just that play was clear as day, showed why Lamar Jackson is the MVP. And Derrick Henry is going to be the X factor for this team. Like, whenever you can give him 28 carries and him have 7 yards per carry, like, you're going to be successful. That's going to break down the defense, and nobody wants to tackle Derrick Henry. And not 28 times. And especially him running downhill like he is. He reached 21 miles per hour on that 44-yard touchdown. So, yeah, nobody's wanting to stop that. And he's just throwing, stiff-arming dudes down to the turf, down to the ground. And then Lamar Jackson, when he's keeping it, he had 80 yards rushing. So really can't stop the Ravens offense when they're clicking like they were. And Lamar Jackson, he looked like Lamar Jackson in the regular season. 2 passing touchdowns, 16 for 21, 175 yards, 132 quarterback rating. So yeah, when you needed Lamar to throw the ball, he made Lamar plays. I mean, just evading pressure, throwing the dot to Justice Hill for a touchdown, throwing, the touchdown to Rashad Bateman. When Rashad Bateman scores a touchdown, I think the Ravens are undefeated. So hopefully they can keep that up against Buffalo and potentially KC. But yeah, the throw was on the money to Bateman too. Perfect throw in the pocket. So Lamar, the confidence he had in the regular season, he showed that in this game against the Steelers, team that's had his number in the past. People, expected him to, shrivel up and probably play bad against the Steelers, but he dominated them. And I think the playoff woes are past him. Had a great performance against the Texans last playoffs. Chiefs game, that was, the Chiefs. Let's be real. It's Chiefs, if Zay Flowers doesn't fumble, I think that's a different story, that game and how it goes. And that touchdown pass he had in the first half and him throwing the ball up, tipping it, and him catching it, running. Lamar Jackson is past the playoff woes, in my opinion. And just the Lamar we've seen this year, it just gives you that confidence that he's going to go out there and go on a run. And against Buffalo, we'll see. Because this is for real when the playoff run starts. This is the most important part of the playoff run, and we'll probably see the best divisional round game of all time, damn near. These two juggernaut teams going against each other, and it's definitely going to be a different story because it's definitely going to be a different game. I don't think it'll be a blowout. Both teams are different teams than when they matched up week 4, but Lamar Jackson, it's his time now. I'm excited to see what he does against Buffalo. Texans versus Chargers. Justin Herbert, I had him in my top 5, but after this game, got to take him out. He needs the Lamar Jackson slander. He needs the Dak slander. I mean, he's in year 5 as a quarterback for the Chargers, and this is another playoff collapse. I mean, the game against the Jacksonville Jaguars up 27-0, and you do nothing in the second half. Collapse. Against the Texans, this Texans defense is good, but you should have won this game. You should have handled business. 4 interceptions, just made a lot of turnover-worthy plays. And the Will Dissly, drop an interception, I won't give that too much on him. But every other interception, I feel like, come on. You gotta make these. You gotta be a little more accurate with these throws. Overthrowing Ladd McConkey when he's got his guy beat deep for a touchdown, and Ladd played really well in this game. The defense gave the Chargers opportunities to do something and win this game potentially, and they fell short. And Justin Herbert has to wear a lot of that. I know this offense doesn't have a lot of playmakers. The run game really wasn't as effective, and Justin Herbert has to make a lot of plays, and it's on him to create and do a lot of things with this offense. But we've seen him do it all regular season. If we want to give him credit for helping this team be 11-6 and this offense be successful because how Herbert was playing and how elite he was, we got to also give him blame for how he played and stunk up the joint against the Texans. So that's just my thoughts on that. So Justin Herbert, I think he's a top 10 quarterback, but he's moving to the back. CJ Stroud, Daniels, those guys are now ahead of him. Matthew Stafford too, because playoff success is important as a quarterback. And yeah, Jaden Daniels already has his playoff win. He already has more playoff wins than Justin Herbert. CJ Stroud has more playoff wins than Herbert in year 2. Jaden Daniels has more playoff wins than Herbert now. And Daniels and CJ Stroud has as many playoff wins as Dak and Lamar Jackson now. So no more of this, we're giving you a break. You need to show up at the playoffs, and he just hasn't so far in his first 2 playoff games. And CJ Stroud, he looked like his old self, his rookie self in, it's crazy to say because he was phenomenal as a rookie, but he showed up big in the second half of this game against the Chargers. Things looked like they were going the Chargers' way defensively. They were holding their own, and CJ Stroud had an interception, but in the second half they got going. Joe Mixon had a big day. Nico Collins is a matchup nightmare. It's just like AJ Brown, matchup nightmare. 6'4", 220 pounds. You can't stop him. You can't guard him. He can outrun safeties and corners. Like, he's fast as hell, but matchup nightmare. He had a big day, 100 yards receiving, a touchdown. So CJ Stroud, it was good to see him play like this. It was good to get that confidence back. And defensively, the Texans defense, this is one of the best defenses in the NFL. And DeMeco Ryans, CJ Stroud, those two get back-to-back playoff wins. And this defense, back-to-back dominating performances in round 1. They did a masterclass performance last year against the Cleveland Browns. Joe Flacco, they stunned his ass. It was about the third quarter where they had back-to-back pick sixes. And this game against the Chargers, third quarter again, 2 back-to-back interceptions. One of them was a pick six, so I think they made history with that. But yeah, just how good the secondary is. Derek Stingley Jr. is a top 5 corner in the league, I think. And you have Lassiter, corner from Georgia. He stepped up big this year, 4 interceptions on the season. Kalen Bullock, safety from USC. 5 interceptions this year. He's played pretty well. And Petrie, when he gets back, he's an elite safety when he's healthy. So this secondary is young, talented, and just they're only going to get better. This is a secondary that can lock you the fuck up. And you have the pass rush they have, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr., 2 guys that are going to get after you. Mario Edwards, Tim Settle, Danico Autry at the other defensive end, even Derek Barnett. He's somebody that had 5 sacks this year, so they have a lot of depth on the pass rush. This is a defense, yeah. They could come in and beat you. I don't care how good your offense is. So if their offense could be a little productive, if their offense could protect CJ Stroud for a little bit, enough time for him to throw to Nico Collins, enough time for Joe Mixon to get going, they could play with a lot of teams in the NFL. We could see what the Texans were supposed to be this year. And we saw it in this game against the Chargers. They dominated them. So give DeMeco Ryans all the credit in the world. He coached a fantastic game against the Chargers, and CJ Stroud played fantastic. DeMeco Ryans' defense, all year they've been cooking. 33 takeaways on the season, first in the NFL. 53 sacks, third in the NFL. First in pressure percentage, 38.5% of the time they get home. 38.5%, 38.5% pressure rate. So yeah, they had a fantastic performance defensively, and they stunned this Chargers team. Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.